Now we've talked about symmetry and about lines of symmetry before, but it's been a little while. Who can tell me what is a line of symmetry, or what does symmetry mean? Jadine, what does symmetry mean, or what is a line of symmetry? On just some sides? Okay, it's okay. It might be a little bit hard to explain, but you did a good job. So there's a line in the middle, and you're saying about the sides. What has to be true about the sides, Jadine? Ooh, I like that. You used a math word. Good job. Congruent. What does congruent mean? Kylie? Yep, it absolutely is. So, line of symmetry is when you draw a line, and you can think of it as a line in the middle of a shape, because you want to have two sides and they need to be congruent. That means the two sides need to have the same size and the same shape. You can't have one that's big and one that's small. You can't have one that's a square and the other one that's a triangle. They have to be the same. Okay? So, I'm going to go back up here to the top. Next to my line, I'm going to press that little arrow that points down. I'm going to grab my scribble. Okay? It asks us to circle all of the figures that have a correct line of symmetry drawn. So they want us to only circle the shapes that have an actual line of symmetry, where both sides are congruent, the same size and the same shape. There's a couple of shapes on this page that do have the line of symmetry correctly. Who can tell me one of the shapes that has a correct line of symmetry? Kaylee, can you give me one shape that has a correct line of symmetry? Okay, so the fourth one, so 1, 2, 3, 4. This one? You're absolutely right. If they use that line there, both of my sides are going to be the same size and the same shape. I could fold it and it would match perfectly. So I'm going to circle that. You all can do the same thing on your copy. Now, that's not the only one that has a correct line of symmetry. Who can tell me another shape on this page that has the line of symmetry where it belongs? Christopher, give me another. Okay, the first shape, the triangle. Click on my scribble again. The first one has a line of symmetry. It's right in the middle, and both sides of that line would be congruent. They have the same size and they have the same shape. There's not a big side and a small side. There's not a square side and a triangle side. Both of them are equal. There's still more. Who can find another one for me? Alexa? The third one. This one here. Let me grab my scribble tool again. Circle it. That shape has the correct line of symmetry. Again, if I look at both sides of that shape, both sides are congruent. Same size, same shape. Not a big and a small. There's not a square and a rectangle. Same thing. Now, these three shapes, the ones that we didn't circle, those ones don't have the correct line of symmetry. Who can tell me what's wrong with the star? How did they mess up the line of symmetry here? Or why is it messed up? What's wrong with it? Bailey? What's wrong with that star's line of symmetry? Bailey with the B. That is a very good thing that you noticed, Bailey. I'm glad that you saw that. If I use this line and I were to fold it over, you're right. I would have 1, 2 points on one side and 1, 2, 3 points on the other side. So I wouldn't have a match. They wouldn't be congruent. This side is bigger than this side. Okay, what about this shape here, this arrow? What's wrong with the line of symmetry on that arrow? Jadine, what's wrong with the line of symmetry? You're right. It's not just a straight arrow, right? It goes up and then you're right, it turns around and it comes down. And if I look at that line of symmetry, one side has a curve like a circle almost, and the other side doesn't have that same circle, does it? Now the other one has like a rectangle almost and then a little arrow. And it doesn't have any round parts, any circle parts. So you're right, it wouldn't be congruent. What about this last one? What's wrong with the line of symmetry on that last shape? Kylie? Okay, that's a good way to put it. So the lines on that last shape, it might kind of look like it would work, but it wouldn't work when you try to match the sides. You try to fold it over, like you said, the lines wouldn't match up. One would go sideways, one would go down. If you have ever taken like a piece of paper, like a regular sheet of paper, and you tried to fold it diagonally, then you know it doesn't fold correctly. It doesn't match up right. The points kind of end up like next to each other. So the same thing would happen here with this shape. It's almost even shaped like a piece of paper. If you were to try to fold it on that line, the two sides wouldn't match up. You wouldn't have congruent sides. Okay. We go to the next slide. It's got some other shapes for us. And all we have to do is take the circle and put it over yes or no. Is this a dot? Is the dotted line a line of symmetry? If you think it is, put it on yes. If you think it's not, put it on no. And I'll wait a little bit. I want you to answer these 6 questions and then we'll look at them together. Who can tell me for this shape? This like L looking shape. Did they draw a line of symmetry? Yes or no? Bella, what do you say? Yes or no? So if I fold the shape on this line, I'm going to have 2 equal sides? No, I won't. They're about the same size, right? But one of them is standing up, the other one is laying down. So even though they'd be the same size, they wouldn't be the same shape. So this one, the no. Remember, congruent means 2 things. Same size, same shape. It can't just be one. That one's close though. Very close to being a line of symmetry. Did you have a question, Jadine, or are you just ready? Okay. Kylie, same thing. You have a question or are you ready? Next shape. Does this shape have a line of symmetry drawn correctly or not? You're right, Jadine. This line is very close to being a line of symmetry, just like we saw with this L-shaped one, but if I look at the two sides, it does give me a very perfect looking triangle on one side. But on the other side, I can see the triangle looks different. So even though they're both triangles, it's the same shape, it is not the same size. So this one is another no. Okay. Kaylee, you were ready earlier. So Kaylee, tell me about this one. Does this circle have a line of symmetry correctly or not? Yes, this one does. Honestly, with the circle, unless you don't put it in the middle, it's kind of hard to not find a line of symmetry. Circles are really good at symmetry. There's a lot of ways you could fold a circle and get two equal sides. The only way is if you don't put it in the middle. If you put it off to one side, then it won't be a line of symmetry. Okay, who can tell me about this one, the pentagon? Does that pentagon have a correct line of symmetry or no? Chase, does it have a correct line of symmetry? Yes or no? Chase says nope, and I agree with him. No, if I tried to fold my pentagon there, I would not have two equal sides. Okay, what about the arrow? Does this arrow have a line of symmetry drawn on it? Yes or no? Alexa? This one does. If I folded my arrow here, I'd have two congruent sides, same shape and same size. And the last one, this moon. Does the moon have a line of symmetry on it? Yes or no? Kylie? Yes, the moon does have a line of symmetry on it. If I were to fold that moon there, I would have two perfect half. So if I look at the whole page, my L shape, my triangle, and my pentagon did not have correct lines of symmetry. The rectangle or the L shape, even though they were both the same size, they wouldn't be the same shape. Triangle had a different problem. They were both the same shape, but not the same size. The pentagon, the sides wouldn't be the same size or the same shape. Nothing. They'd be very, very different sides. The circle, the arrow, and the moon all had correct lines of symmetry because both sides would be the same size and the same